Hello guys, this is just a quick run through on the shooting and processing using the DJI app. First things first, let's get the drone happening. Here I'm using Pro mode, just getting that set so I've got some visibility, and now I'm kind of comfortable, I can see what I'm doing. I also just want to check the white balance, and I tend to want to use that at around 5,500 Ks, which is not always easy to get with my big fingers. And now we'll put the drone up in the air in a moment. Which is now happening, and we'll take it up to around 40 meters, which will give us a good view for this location. Sometimes you want to be higher, sometimes lower. So once we hit 40 meters, I'm going to try and get the drone facing north, and we'll switch over to compass mode in a minute. So north is actually that way, pretty much up that street that you can see going away. Switch over to compass mode. I did have it pretty close, just wanted to tidy it up a bit, and I'm still getting used to that compass, so bear with me dicking around for a little bit. And once I've got the little sucker lined up, we will then switch over to panorama mode. As you can see me pressing the buttons there, into pano mode, and yep, we need to go to pro mode. Make sure you're in that because we want a fixed exposure, and select a suitable shutter speed to what you think's about right. That kind of looks okay, but what we'll do now is do a rotation of 360 degrees, checking the exposure values. And you'll see the EVs are dropping down a bit. So what we'll probably do is come back to 1/4000th of a second for this exercise, just to brighten that up a tad. And there we have it zeroed. I don't mind if it shoots a little dark on parts of it, as if you lose the highlights you'll never get them back, but you can always pull something out of the shadows. And here I'm just checking the white balance at 5,500, and we're pretty much ready to shoot, which it's now doing. I have cut out a bit of this section, and it's just finishing off and updating, and unfortunately we have to wait for it to create the onboard JPEG, which is a bit of a pain, but life's like that. And now we've pulled the card out of the drone and put it into the computer. So we've imported all the files into Lightroom, and we're going to apply a preset to all the files which I've created using a color checker, so the colors become pretty accurate. Now on the develop mode, we will select all of the sky frames, as they will need to be treated differently to the ground frames. Generally you'll be running a bit lower exposure or higher exposure on the ground frames, so we're just going to try and get these looking kind of nice. My preset boosts it up about 0.2 of a stop, which in this case is about right. So I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm just going to recheck the colour temperature, as well as noticing that there's a bit of lens flare in the bottom right hand and left hand corner. But that goes with the nature of drones. So now we've done those, we're going to sync those, so all the settings will be applied across all of the selected frames. And now we're going to go through and select all the ground frames, and do exactly the same things with that. And 3 to go. And we're just going to boost those just a smidge. I don't need a lot, I'm happy with that, so we'll leave that. And we're going to go down and sync them all again. And then back into the library, we will select all, and for this exercise I'm going to export them as JPEGs. If I've got a really high-end pano, I will use tiffs, so I've got more information for some more serious editing afterwards. But for this exercise, oh yeah, JPEG Mini, gotta hate that sometimes. I just want them in the edits folder and export. And yeah, here we go. You can go to tiffs and either choose 8 or 16-bit. Generally with these sensors, 8-bit is adequate, as they're not really flash sensors. So now we'll hit export, and once that's done, we will then fire up PT GUI and load the panos into PT GUI. We'll load the files into PT GUI, and as you can see, it does a really good job of reading the metadata. We're going to fill the holes in this case, and it doesn't do a bad job. And we'll align images. Now we'll go to the viewer and have a really good look and just check the horizon, because there's normally a stitching error on water. I can almost guarantee it. And we'll have a little look-see, and you can actually see a little waterfall right there. So to fix that, we'll go into the optimizer, go into the advanced mode, select all the other frames apart from our base frame, and run optimize. Now if I run the optimizer, it's pretty happy. So we'll now go back to here and find the viewer, and oh looky there, the waterfall's vanished off the horizon and the rest is stitched beautifully. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. There doesn't appear to be any other errors. All I'm seeing out there is the islands and the giraffes down at the wharf. So we'll now go and create a panorama, and again for this exercise for speed, I'm just going to resize it to 8,000 pixels wide and save it as a JPEG. Can use a TIFF again if you want high quality and you need to do serious editing. So we'll create the pano, and then we'll fire up Affinity Photo, which is now running, and you can see there is a little bit of a blend line issue between the fill, so we'll go to the inpainting brush and try that. And then do the other side. See how that's going to behave. Sometimes it does a great job, sometimes you need to do a bit more work, which we're going to have to this time. So we'll go into the equirectangular projection, and you can see there that's a bit dodgy, so we'll now bring the view out to 90 degrees, which is the maximum. Get down to that area, grab the inpainting brush again, as soon as I find it, You can spend as much time as you like in here. I probably should have used a larger brush to get a bit better sampling for the in-painting, as this didn't quite come out as I was hoping. So waiting. It's pretty processor intensive, so will take a while, and this is on a fairly powerful machine. It's kind of okay, so we'll just give it a couple of little nudges and try and tidy it up a little, and a little bit more. And that's kind of okay. Haven't got a whole lot more time, so we'll just remove the equirectangular projection and have a little look. And there's pretty much a very acceptable pano. So we can go to export and away we go. And thank you very much for putting up with me and listening to my drone. Thank you.